go into the next session. So my name is Puilan. I'm a software test engineer for the Office Interoperability team. I've been with the team for about 3 years. My team is responsible for publishing open specification, developing, testing, and releasing Office protocol test suite and test tools. We have another session tomorrow by Jinghui about the protocol test suite. So we'll talk about that a little bit more detail tomorrow. And also, my team is responsible for hosting customer events like the Shanghai seminar, the I/O Labs, PubFest, so throughout the years. So in this session, we are going to take a look at the Office file validation and the binary file format tools. So this session is a continuation of Tom's presentation and actually about how you actually use and how the application of some of the binary file format. So the agenda for the session, so we will take a look at the Office file validation. We'll take a look at some of the tools we've developed. We'll have a demo and then Q&A at the end of it. So before we talk about Office file validation, the application of it, we should take a step back and look at the Office binary file format. So everything started with the binary file format. Microsoft has been using the binary file format in many years. But in order for us to work with third party, we have extracted the rules and requirements from the binary file format. And using those information, we've generated three pieces. So the open specification, Office file validation, and the test tools. Those three pieces are very tight related with the binary file format. So the open specification basically describes the structure, the format of the binary file format. So today we have MS-DOC, XLS, and PPT. So that actually allows users to understand and use the binary file format. And then we have Office file validation. So that Office file validation is actually a part of the Office application. It's a feature within it, part of the product. And we've also developed test tools to help third party to validate the binary file format, investigate issue, browse, edit. So to actually manipulate, allows you to edit the binary file format files. So for this session, Office file validation and test tool are the main focus. So the other, okay. So let's take a look at the Office file validation. So I'll refer it as OFV, just easier. So another name for this is the Gatekeeper, Office Gatekeeper. So it is a security feature for Office application. So it is actually a feature. It shows up as one of the protected view. If you don't know what protected view is, it is actually a feature in Office application. It is used for detecting unsafe location, attachment, network share, and also for files being blocked or another feature, and Office file validation is part of protected view. So when, and OFV is actually originally introduced in Publisher 2007. It was then later expanded to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in 2010, and it's also part of that today. So maybe something, I don't know. Okay, I'll just leave it here. Also, OFV, you can actually, is available for Office 2003 and 2007. So you can actually go to the link and download the installer and have it applied to Office 2003 and 2007. So the behavior, so OFV only applies to the binary file format. So it doesn't do anything with the newer XML-based format. So, and OFV is actually loaded before the document is being opened. So when you first double-click, try to open a binary file format document, OFV is actually loaded first, and actually it will scan through the file before the Office application opens the file. It loosely checks the document for conformance against the binary file format specification. So it doesn't check for everything. And it only focuses on selected criteria related to security and privacy, potential conformance violation, and also corruption. So the reason behind that is that Microsoft attackers have actually been using the binary file format to infect and attack users. So Microsoft has then decided to use OFV as a broad approach to try to stop the attack and also other potential violations from happening. And over the years, Microsoft has been collecting information about the usage of OFV and has been changing the criteria, removing and modifying the criteria to reflect the actual usage of it. So OFV's goal is not to check, again, it's not to check 100% conformance of the binary document. So an Office application can actually make assumptions and can handle some of the non-conformance data, so that the application can continue to operate even though the document is not 100% conformance to the specification. So in another word, you can open a document that is not fully comply with the open specification, and it will continue to operate. So at the end of the file validation, you will either get a pass or a fail. And you will see a notification on top of the application, of the Office application, to tell you actually, if something actually goes wrong. If the document passes the validation, you don't actually see anything. So, and if you click on the link, it will actually tell you a little bit more about why the protected view was triggering and providing the warning or notification. However, OFV does not tell you what the actual problem is. It just tells you there's a potential issue with the document. So that's why we developed the additional tools to allow you to further drill down and understand why there's an issue with the document. So we'll take a quick look at the Office file validation setting. So by default, the OFV is actually turned on, and it will warn the user and still allows you to open the document. The other options available are turning off OFV altogether, and also blocking the document from opening. So for Office 2003 and 2007, the setting is actually done through the registry. So you can just go to the registry, modify some of the registry keys, and change the behavior. Office 2010, they added group policy and PowerShell, and Office 2013, they added the Office customization tool that allows you to actually change the validation behavior. So I will show you a quick demo about how what it does. So over here, I have a few files, right? So if I just a few sample files. So if I just open the file today, it will. Let me see if I can drag this guy over. So this file will actually show me the protected view because I have some issue with the file on purpose. So if I close it, okay. So if I change the setting to, if I use PowerShell and just simply create an object with the Word application and actually turn off the setting. The next time I just open the file, did this work? The warning is gone. So that's how you can actually change the behavior of OFV. Well, that's one of the ways to do it. Okay. Okay, so this guy. Okay. Okay, so I mentioned it only simply tells you there's a problem, potential problem. It doesn't really tell you what the problem is. So we've developed a couple of the tools to actually allow you to further validate the file and also to investigate, to browse, and to edit the file, the binary file format files. So here we have two tools. One is called Binary File Format Validator, BFF Validator. And the other one is the Office Visualization Tool, OFVIS. So both of these tools are currently available. And they are standalone tools, and you can just download it and use it. So for the BFF validator, it verifies the binary file format in very detail. It checks for every single thing in the file. And it does a very strict conformance. It doesn't determine the severity or the importance of an issue. So as long as there's an issue, it will report to you. So it's very different compared to the OFV. And the tool may report, so like I said before, the tool will detect issues with the document, even though the same document can be opened in the Office application without any warning. So it's a very different behavior. And it supports the binary file format, the .doc, XLS, PPT, etc. The BFF validator is just a simple command line tool. You just run it in command prompt. It stops at the first failure. So what that means is that when the BFF validator encounters an error, it will report the error into the log file, and it stops checking the rest of the file because it doesn't know how to process the rest of it, because depending on the issue, it might impact the whole structure of the file. So in another word, if there are multiple, you may have to run the tool multiple times to completely check your document. If you find an error, you have to fix it, and then try again, until the tool completely check the document and report like a success or pass at the, with the result. This tool only scans the file. It does not modify, or it does not change, and does not make any changes to the binary file format, the document. And at the end of it, it runs and it generates an XML log showing you the error, if there's any, and also the parse stack, what happened during the parsing. And also, it provides you with direct links to the open specification, showing you where each session is and what the detail about each session or each property. And because of XML, the output is XML log file, you can possibly use scripting to actually to do scripting with the result. So here is a sample log of the BFF validator. So on the top of it, it basically tells you I am verifying an Excel spreadsheet, XLS file, and the result is failed. It then shows you the parse stack of the processing. And the stack is actually in a reverse order, meaning that the top of the stack is actually on the bottom, on the very bottom of the parse stack. And this is actually the top of the stack. So this is where the actual error is. And it also shows you the data associated with the error. So we're going to magnify this and take a look at more about the detail of the error in this case. So for this error, this is an XLS, and the session associated with it is the Kelkan session 2.4.41 from the open specification. And there's a link that associated with it. So if you click the link, it will open the specification to this particular session for the Excel. It then tells you what the stream name is within the file. The stream name is important because all the offset below are all relative offset to this stream name. So in this case, this is a workbook stream. It then shows you the offset of the data structure. We show you both the decimal and the hexadecimal value of the offset. So in this case, the OX5E1 is the offset of the failure structure. It then also tells you the bit offset within the data structure, meaning if a structure has multiple properties in it, this will actually tells you exactly where within the structure the failed property is. But in this case, in this example, the offset is actually 0, meaning that it's the first, is in the beginning of the data structure. And the stream offset basically is an addition of the other two properties. So this is actually the exact offset of the problem property. So in this case, because we are at the beginning of the structure, it has the same value because it's at the beginning of the structure. The next property is actually the child ID. The child ID actually tells you the order of the property within the data structure. So if you have a structure that has, let's say, 5 properties, the child ID actually tells you which property it is. And in our case, this is child ID 1, meaning that this is the first data structure within the property within the data structure. So in this case, CLTER is the property that has issue. And we have also attached the actual data associated with the error. In this case, it's 0000. And if we read the description closely, you will actually notice that for this property, the description is saying that this property must be greater than or equal to 1 and less than 32767. So because of this requirement, this file failed because the value is actually 0 outside of the accepted range. So this tool is cool, but it tells you what the problem is, exactly where it is, but it doesn't let you edit or browse or try to fix the file. So that's why we provide another tool. It's called the Office Visualization tool to allows you to actually edit and modify the file. So this is actually a graphical user interface, a GUI, like an application that allows you to browse and edit. So yeah, so it is a browser and an editor. It has the defragment feature, and so it allows you to and restructure the file, and also it includes the parser so that you can actually parse the structure for .doc, for .xls, PPT, and so forth. It's a complement to the BFFR data. It works well with the other the BFFR data because the other one tells you what the error is. This one allows you to actually open the document and browse the content of the document. So one note is that memory displayed in this tool are displayed as little Indian, meaning that the least significant byte is actually first in the memory. So for example, so if we have a hash word like OX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in reality, in the memory, it is actually stored as 56, 34, and 12. So that's how it shows in the memory. So here is a picture of the Office, what it looks like. On the top of it, it basically allows you to select which parser you want to parse. If it's a Word document, Excel spreadsheet, or PowerPoint. Below that, it actually shows you the raw content of the file. So this is a binary representation of the document. And on the right side, it actually shows you the parse result. When the parser processes the file, this is the structure that the parser understands. So I'm going to have some quick demo to show you what it looks like. So let's see. So here is a command prompt, and in the directory I have multiple sample files. So the BFF validator. So this demo actually what I'll show you is kind of a continuation of the log file I show you, but basically I just walk through it in a real scenario. So the BFFR data is actually very simple. There's not, not much input, and it will just generate a log file at the end of it. So if I'm to run the, can you guys see it okay? Yeah. So if I'm just run the file against one of my sample fail file, you can actually see that the result is actually a fail, and it generated like an XML log file output. So if I just open the file, okay. So this is the log file that generated from the run. So this is exactly what I just showed in the presentation, right? So and if I click on this link, then it will bring me to the Kelkan property. So with the information we looked at before, so remember the offset 0x5E1. So this is the offset we'll be using a little bit later. So now I know what the problem is. I'm going to the Office visualization tool to actually try to work around the issue. So this is the tool. So when I first come in here, I'll open the data file, and I'll select this file. So this is the raw data of the file. So I'll first defragment the file so that it can, it's easier to read. And then I can run the Excel parser on it. So after the parsing, it will actually show me the header and the information about the file. And I can come into the directories, and then I'll find there are different directories in it. And the one I'm interested in is the workbook. If you remember in the log file, it's actually the workbook directory that has the issue. So then I will go in here and expand, and then I'll find the data. So the data is the actual data of that of the stream. And in this case, the data actually starts at 0600. So 0600 is where the stream starts. And in my case, I have an offset of 5E1. So adding both together, so with 0600 and adding 5E1 together, I will actually get a BE1. 0xBE1 is the address that I'm interested in, is where the failure is. So if I do a go BE1, so on the bottom of the, okay, so BE1. So BE1, this is the location where the failure happens, right? So if you see on the right, it automatically jumps to the data, BE1, telling me that this is a Kelkan property, and the location is BE1 with the data 0000. So for the sake of this demo, we know that the valid range is actually between 1 and 32767 from the description, right? So if I just modify it to a value, then it will work. It will pass this validation. So let's say if I modify to 1. And in this case, to modify this value to 1, I actually have to modify to 0, 1. Does it make sense? Because of the little Indian, right? So I have to modify to 0, 1, 0, 0 to actually get the value of 1. So after modifying this content, I can save the file as something like this, and fixed.xls. So I save the file, and if I come in here and run the tool again with the save file, so with the fixed file, it will then tell me, oh, it passed the validation. So that's how you use the tools. But in reality, right? In this case, I basically just work around the issue. I didn't. The actual problem should be fixed. If you have an application generating the file, or you actually have you want to actually select the right value that actually associated with your file. The value 1 in my case is just a test, a sample value that I use to work around it. So that's how you use the tools together. So any questions? Yes. Oh. Easy to understand.
Validator classify the errors as a different category or levels. Some levels of error maybe can be ignored, some have to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in this case, we don't have any control. We don't do that at all. So what it does is it just do a complete check of the document. As soon as it finds error, it will tell you. So there's no, we don't have a categorization. We don't have a severity in this case. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that. So like I said, so you can actually open, like one of my example, you can actually open the failed document in Excel. So like this sample I was using, right? I can open this, where's my mouse. I can open this file in Excel without any warning. I can open this file in Excel without any warning, but then the BFF file data still pick up the error, the non-conformance data within the file. Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't do that today. Yeah.
So if you find some errors and you can still can open the file, and when you save it again, will the error remains?
So it depends. It depends. So the Office application can actually make some assumption for some of the, when it detects some issue, it sometimes makes some assumption, sometimes it just ignores the issue, right? So if it ignores the issue, then your issue is still within the file. So, so it really depends. It is not really like well documented what we check today. So it's kind of case by case, yeah. So. Okay, you guys ready for your tea break, I guess?
Excuse me, tea break is at 2:45.
Okay.
So we'll slide on those.
Okay. 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 Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful for you. Yep.